So Israeli citizens cast their ballots yesterday and the results are now due in just a few hours. But why did the country go to polls for the second time this year? Here's all you need to know about these Israeli elections in a nutshell.
Why is the country going to polls again? In the April elections, Netanyahu failed to gather a majority government. As a second shot, Netanyahu forced parliament to dissolve, triggering repeat elections. What is different this time? Netanyahu's former defense minister, Avigdor Lieberman, prevented a coalition earlier. Lieberman has the support of secular voters. Who is Netanyahu's main challenger? Netanyahu's main challenger remains Israel's former army chief, Benny Gantz. However, Lieberman is likely to have a say over who becomes Israel's next leader. What will happen? While both Netanyahu and Gantz may come out ahead, it's even possible they will join together under a unity government. The big wild card is another stalemate, which could lead to a third election in January. What has Netanyahu promised? Israeli sovereignty in the Jordan Valley and 30% annexation of the occupied West Bank, which Palestinians want as a future state. What's the role of smaller parties? Avigdor Lieberman of the right-wing secular Yisrael Beitenu party is an ally turned rival of Netanyahu. He could end up holding the balance of power. The role of Arab Israeli voters. Arab citizens of Israel could deprive Netanyahu of a majority if there's a robust turnout of the minority community. How will the results affect India? Anti-terrorism cooperation, military technology and weapons lie at the core of India-Israel friendship, which has remarkably grown during Narendra Modi's earlier tenure. Status quo is likely to remain the same.
Let's shift focus over to Saudi Arabia, where in the latest on the Saudi oil field attack, Riyadh says it will today present evidence incriminating Iran in the attacks as U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo heads to the country amid rising tensions with Iran. This as French experts prepare to travel to the Gulf Kingdom to help probe the drone attacks earlier. Saudi Arabia announced that it has recovered oil facilities. Showing optimism, the Saudi energy minister said that oil production will be restored by the end of this month.
تم خلال اليومين الماضيين احتواء الأضرار واستعادة أكثر من نصف الإنتاج الذي تعطل نتيجة هذا الهجوم الإرهابي، ولذلك سوف تفي في الشركة بكامل التزاماتها لعملائها خلال هذا الشهر من خلال السحب من مخزوناتها من الزيت الخام وتعديل مزيج بعض الزيوت على أن تعود قدرة المملكة الإنتاجية إلى 11 مليون برميل يوميا بنهاية شهر سبتمبر.
The statement came as global oil prices spiked by a record 14% after drones targeted the world's largest crude oil processing plant run by state-owned Saudi Aramco firm. Meanwhile, blaming Iran for the attack, United States Vice President Mike Pence announced that the country's Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will meet with Saudi officials to discuss possible retaliation against Tehran. The top Trump administration official has already left for Saudi Arabia.
In the wake of this weekend's unprovoked attack on several oil facilities in Saudi Arabia, I promise you, we're ready. As the President said, we don't want war with anybody, but the United States is prepared. We're locked and loaded, and we're ready to defend our interests and our allies in the region. Make no mistake about it. As the President said yesterday, it's certainly looking like Iran was behind these attacks. Our intelligence community at this very hour is working diligently to review the evidence. The Secretary of State is traveling to Saudi Arabia today to discuss our response.
This as Iranian Foreign Minister Javed Zarif said that the United States was in denial over the attacks. Remember, Iran-aligned Yemeni rebels Houthis have claimed responsibility for the attacks. The rebels have denied any help from Tehran. Remember, tensions in the Middle East escalated after drone attacks on two major oil facilities in Saudi Arabia. The attacks that happened last Saturday knocked out more than half of crude output from the world's largest exporter. 5% of the global oil supply was cut due to the attacks. Both Washington and its key ally Riyadh have blamed Iran for targeting the oil field.